Hey, my friend, this is a 5-minute quickie. Your head's up to it. It's all about really getting a sense of empowerment of how well you've done, all the things you've forgotten, all the good stuff you've forgotten that you've done, and you want to get to be in this position where you say, I bloody did that, and I feel good. Bring it on. So this 5-minute quickie is longer than 5 minutes because I got excited and I got taken away. If that's important, well, if that's of interest, have a listen after this. Hey, welcome to the Personal Development Unplugged podcast with me, Paul Clough. And this is an FMQ, a 5-minute quickie podcast, which never lasts 5 minutes. It always goes a little bit longer. But it's a chance for you and I just to muse, to think of a subject, to talk about it for a few minutes, and then spend time thinking, seeing how it would change our life if we maybe developed it a little deeper. And maybe sometimes these 5-minute quickies will go into a longer podcast where we can dive deeper and produce processes, hypnosis processes, NLP processes. Don't worry about the names. They're just processes for making our life and your life absolutely better. Getting rid of anxiety, fear, all those other hang-ups and issues that we have, and have the life we deserve and make dreams come into reality quicker, bigger, better than you could ever dream of. But they're the longer podcasts, and this is a 5-minute quickie where we break down the complicated into simple, because in simplicity there's genius, and that's what we do here. So if you want to just think for a little while, see what happens, see what resonates inside you, and when it does, you go change the world.
This is Personal Development Unplugged with Paul Clough.
In simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
Hey friend, back with the 5-minute quickie. How far have you travelled? How far have I travelled? What does that mean? You see, I know you're on this adventure, this personal development adventure, this creating the best version of you adventure, to become your best self, to find your real voice, and all the stuff I've said before about being the real you. And it is an adventure. And if you're like me, you'll be doing processes, you'll be thinking, reading, taking stuff in, and changing. Because we do. When we learn stuff, we change. When we do a process, we let go of stuff and we change. We're a different us. I'm a different me when I've done a process, when I've done my journaling, when I've done some self-hypno. I know I'm a different version of myself, hopefully a better one. And I know you're the same. I know you have this wonderful goal to be that best version of yourself. And to do that, we do need to keep changing, don't we? Keep refining ourselves, I guess. But the thing is, and this is what I think we sometimes forget, every change, doesn't matter how big it is or how small it is, we become our new normal, our new self, as it were. And the stuff that we dealt with or are dealing with, and we go through a process, once it's dealt with, we've learned from it, we've changed, we've got some new skills, we've got some new understandings, maybe a brand new belief, empowering belief, then the old stuff disappears. It disappears into the past, like poof. And some of those memories you might even forget. Some of them you'll look back and go, yeah, it was a bad time back then, but it's not now. It was then. And that tells me that we've changed, because it's back then. It's not affecting me anymore. But the thing is, it's a new normal. And the thing is, I really think sometimes if we let that past go without acknowledging our success, we deny ourselves of something very important. What's that, Cluffy? I will tell you, as I tell all my clients, but it's empowerment. See, I tell my clients, hypnotherapy, hypnosis is not a do-to thing. It's a do-with. I don't put stuff in. I give a process which is guides the unconscious mind, their unconscious mind, to make neural pathways maybe, Maybe some synaptic gaps will fire and wire together. We learn from the past and it disappears, and we make those changes. But they do it. And I want them to know that they've done it, because then they know that they have done it. And that's where they get their empowerment. And they can say, just like you say, I did that. So what else can I do? I wonder what else I can do that's even bigger and better now, because if I can do that, so much is possible. And why? Wonderful positive belief. Because I can. I'm okay. And I think if we forget that part, that's a huge thing that we deny ourselves. The wonderful pat on the back to say, yeah, I did that. And the thing is, when we go through and let go of this stuff, sometimes we think it's really big stuff, and when we get to let go of it, it isn't. But it doesn't matter. It was affecting us in a big way. But we did it. We had the balls to go ahead and search and do and learn. And how do how do we do that? How do we acknowledge this change, our successes? Well, we do that by reviewing how far we've come. Reviewing can take just a few minutes at a time. If that's all you want to do, you don't have to go for hours and hours. Can do if you want, but you don't need to. Just takes a few minutes. It's the old Cluffy G&T time. I'm going to start calling it the beer time, the tea time, the glass of water time, whichever takes your fancy. But just to sit and remember, think back. Where were you 1 month ago? Just 1 month, 4 weeks ago. And you might have had an aha moment. You might have gone, actually, when I think back, yeah, I have moved on a long way just in 4 weeks. Wow, I did that. Or maybe that's too short a version. And we want to go, well, where was I 6 months ago, half a year ago? How was I feeling? What was I doing? What was affecting me back then that's not affecting me now? Oh, yeah, I used to be frightened of going to meetings. I'm not anymore. In fact, I'm crushing it. Or I'm now going out and socializing with my friends, where in the past I used to be a little nervous, and now I'm really enjoying the company. Wow, that is such a big difference. I forgot about that, because today is my new normal. Maybe go back a year. Where were you a year ago? How much have you taken on? How much have you learned? What have you done which is different? Because you'll have done a massive amount of difference. You'll have changed so much. Thinking back over the year may take a little bit longer. But I thought to myself, sometimes I like to think back to my roots of hypnosis. 23 years ago, coming up in February, 23 years ago, I started my little adventure. I thought it was a little adventure. I thought at the time it was a bloody big one, because I was really frightened about it. Very anxious. Learning something I had got no idea what I was doing, why I was doing it. It was completely outside my comfort zone. I can remember the very first day. I can remember most of those days. I can remember my NLP trainings, my master practitioner trainings, my trainer's training, setting up and working with my son Joseph and Luke, my middle son, creating Cambridge Hypnotherapy, creating a training company, training people in hypnosis and hypnotherapy and NLP, and they're changing the world too. Never know how far the ripples of change go, but that's a snapshot, by the way. I could fill a bloody book on the things I never expected to enjoy. And I've changed so much. And I've still got work to do. I've still got a lot of work to do, because we always want the best version of ourselves, and there can always, I'll say that again, always be a better version. Just 1%. Doesn't have to be huge. Just make that 1% and then another 1%, because you did that. And that's what I'd like you to just to think about, because it is so empowering. And we forget to review the wonderful things that we've done. Because you are, nearly swore with an F, you are awesome. Friggin' awesome. That's what we say. You are friggin' awesome. And if you look back, you'll say, bloody am Cluffy too. I am friggin' awesome. You might even say a different word. And you think of the feeling you get when you think of how far you've come and all the things you've done. You pushed through. You did everything. You had the will to do whatever it takes. And when you did that, you say to yourself, I did that, and what else? Bring it on. Bigger, better. Let's make everything such a wonderful reality. It's not always roses. But it can be, and it will be. It'll be more roses than not. If you like roses, that is. We'll always come up smelling of roses the more we put our will to do whatever it takes. Now, I know this has been a slightly longer 5-minute quickie because I got carried away. Because I think it's so important that you, me, you, everyone acknowledges what we've done. Because we're bloody good sometimes. Well, we're bloody good all the time. Just sometimes we don't realise. Sometimes we make an ass of ourselves. But if we learn from it, push on, baby. Let's go. I don't know where that came from. Push on, baby. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie. We're in that time of the day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I think I might even do a deeper podcast on this, a longer episode, where we can put a process in that I'll take you with hypnosis to get your unconscious mind to remember what it's done for you and how much you've changed, and get your unconscious mind to feel that empowerment and look towards the future of being able to use those skills in the future even more. That would be good, wouldn't it? If that would be good, if you'd be interested in that, I'm pretty interested already because I just thought about it. But if you are interested in it, send me an email, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com, and go, hey, Cluffy, yeah, I'm interested. I'll know what you mean. There you go. Please do share this podcast with everyone because I want them to review all the wonderful things they've done too. And they can become a raving fan of Personal Development Unplugged. And we can be this wonderful community of change. Change we want to see in ourselves, change we want to see in other people, and change for little old planet Earth. What a wonderful concept, Cluffy. Anyway, have more fun than you can stand. Bye-bye. Go fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.